Right, 3, 2, 1, and we are live. I'm back with Alistair, and we're just goofing around right now about people's dreams. So, not related to the WTC at all
No,
at this
not at
moment.
all. But we are back. I am back on Bo's channel. We're going to review two of the teams, Sweden
Yep.
1 and USA 1. And I think
With a
for
possible
continuity,
third.
with a possible third, we'll see how we travel.
Right.
But with continuity being that the WTC lists that you're about to see have been deemed legal as per the tournament organisers rule pack. And it is a single or double generic platoon, 1,000 points, with a extremely generous list of units that are available for the players to take.
Yeah. Although there were some weird ones that were beated out, but like a couple of players, captains asked about, can we bring the Waffen-SS lieutenant for the Germans? And apparently you couldn't, but you could take the Kriegsmarine, which cheap as well. So,
yeah.
So right, I will share my screen and we can go and see. Because again, link is in the description for where to go and see the lists for yourself. I am going to open Sweden 1 first. So here we have the zip file, and here we go. So
While Bo's doing
Swedes.
that, I am on my drink of choice, which is port.
Ooh, nice. I'm on water this evening, but here we go. So this is the first Swedish list, and this is a German list. So a second lieutenant regular with an extra man, assault rifles, of course. It does become expensive, doesn't it? 60 points for 2 men in a regular lieutenant. Yeah. Storm Pioneers, 5-man veterans, flamethrowers, SMGs, no, single SMG and 2 Panzerfausts. Spartruppen, which is a 4-man unit, so it's pretty cheap. Backline holder types unit. Flamethrower team, Gewehr 43, that's the double tap sniper. Love those guys.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're worth it, but it's nice to have the option of shooting again if you miss and no, you hit and you don't kill. That's when you get to roll for the second shot.
No, you always get to roll for the second shot.
You always get to roll for the second.
Yeah,
Nice.
so for those not familiar with it, a German veteran Gera 43 sniper team, they roll to hit and roll to wound as normal, and then on a 4+ they get to fire again. Must be at the same target, but they still then have to roll to hit and roll to wound again.
Okay. It does create a quite good chance that you'll kill that one flamethrower you're aiming at.
It's a 5-point upgrade.
Yeah.
This is how German snipers should come now.
Yeah. Nebelwerfer, of course. Although this could have been a howling cow. Polizei tank, a truck, 12-man capacity with an MMG. And the second platoon is another lieutenant, 2-man. Storm Pioneers, double of these. With a Sturmpistole. That one I don't get. Another Nebelwerfer and an SDKFZ 7/2. That's with a heavy autocannon. Soft skinned with a heavy autocannon. Pretty vulnerable, but also pretty deadly. And another truck with an MMGs to transport some of all these Storm Pioneers. What do we think?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think, look, if you're picking it apart, which we are, there's no real reason to have both of these lieutenants as regular with assistants. Like, I understand that they give you a free assault rifle.
I think there's one potential reason.
Why would
the trucks have 12-man capacity, but the Storm Pioneers are 5 men, so you could stick 2 Storm Pioneers in one truck with a lieutenant and outflank.
Yep, that would be a good
taking
double
up
stack.
every seat. Yeah,
and that's great. But again, that still doesn't warrant having 2 lieutenant units
no, I don't
identical.
think so. Yeah.
Look, the Polizei tank. It's a 50-50 split between, the upgun Panzer III and this tank.
Yeah.
So personal preference. I like the list. It's got, 4 flamethrowers in it?
4 flamethrowers, yes. One of them is the flamethrower team. So it's what I would term a barbecue list,
Yeah.
with quite a lot of extra bits in it, like the double tap sniper and the two multi
Yeah.
rocket launchers, the Daka tank, and a heavy autocannon tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a solid list.
Mm.
It's got look, the units are push units as you would describe them.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's other than having a tweak with the officers,
Mm.
and I can see the trucks getting utilised well with the officers and the
Yeah.
Stone Pioneers, but yeah, if the assault fails,
Mm.
could be in trouble. But having that mobile heavy autocannon, I think that could be the trick. That could
I
be the
think
trick of this
from,
list.
yeah, I think so too. That heavy autocannon is going to be key, I think. I think the main weakness for me is that it's very low on infantry.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of bodies in this list. Right. So that was one. I don't know what that's. There we go. Second one. Right. And this is a Soviet one. So we have a second lieutenant, inexperienced, mounted recon, both 5 men with a flamethrower and an SMG. The Free Rifle Squad, medium mortar, inexperienced sniper team, 2 dog mines, inexperienced, both of them. M30, God, I hate those. M M3 with the upgunned hull and 2 Bren carriers. Second platoon, another lieutenant. Strafbat, 12 man. Shirkers, unarmed dudes in that unit as well. A veteran squad with tough fighter. I like that. An AA gun and another steward. 17 order dice.
Yep. So Soviet list, 17 order dice, good dice count.
Yeah.
That's boosted obviously by the dog mines, the mounted recon, regular, so they've got their preferred delivery system, and the Bren carriers. Yep, good combination.
Yep.
Chefbrads, backline holder, as you've said, that's great. The veteran squad, 7-man veterans with tough fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing they're really missing is a transport to get them
Yeah.
to where they need to go.
Yeah. But they may move up behind the tanks, behind the
Yeah.
steward or the Bren carriers.
Yep.
So yeah.
What I would say is a bit of a deficiency here is the M30.
Yeah.
The benefit of the M30 is that when you buy it as regular, you get a spotter for it.
Mm.
Whereas now with this, it's going to be exposed.
It is.
Okay, you might get to deploy it into cover, but then it's stuck there, so it'll be
I think it's only
zero
there
generally.
to encourage the enemy to spread out, and it's not that much of an encouragement, is it?
No, not really. I think if I was coming up against this
Mm.
and that M30 was exposed, I would task a Daka Stewart or a Panzer III or a Polizei
Just shoot it every turn.
just to spray it down,
Yeah.
or have the a mortar team be able to see it and pull it apart, or a Gerwer 43 sniper.
Oh yeah, that would pretty quickly make short work of that one.
Yep, that would strip it back pretty quick. But this is
Yeah.
a good Soviet list.
It is.
Other than that, sort of pullback, it's good to see artillery piece, autocannon again, be presented. So
We're
yeah,
seeing a lot of those.
yeah, and they should be. So no,
Yep.
it's a good Soviet list by the Swedes.
Right. Then we have this one, the third list, which is
Partisans.
Partisans. So this one was a favorite of mine once I read it. I really like this list. I've been looking it over again and again because I own the partisan army and I've fielded partisans at tournaments. So I was really humped about this list. I'm not sure that it will do massively well because there's a lot of swishy types in it, but I do like it, I must say. So the list itself is inexperienced lieutenant, 2-man unit, partisan late war. So these are riflemen, but they can take Panzerfaust. So of course they do. I'm not sure about the size. It's 9-man unit, but okay. Then 2 of the Pistolero squads that I've been fielding myself, the 20-man Marquis with pistols, tough fighter, inexperienced dudes. They will kill most things. Medium mortar, inexperienced, sniper team, regular, anti-tank team with a bazooka. This is key for me. I like the fact that you can include a bazooka in the partisans. Light howitzer, regular with a gun shield. The Renault UE, the Wolframen, which has a multiple rocket launcher. Civilian car for the bazooka, I guess. Another second lieutenant, 2 Marquis squads, and notice these are 5-man squads with a marksman in them. So as cheap as possible, suddenly this list has 4 snipers in the list, because 2 marksmen here and another sniper team, another bazooka team, another light howitzer, another Wolframen, 17 order dice. What do we think?
Yes, it's hard to argue with this. As you said, it's got the sniper ability. So it's got 2 regular sniper teams. Those marksmen, though, they're still inexperienced. So
Yes,
they're still
they
going to be hitting on 4s. So they're not as good. And if you are using them, it means that you have to expose them.
Yep.
And they're not going to be small teams. So I think
they're going to sit in the. For me, if I was running these, and I have tested them, I would run them way in my own back line, sitting in hard cover and going on ambush.
Yeah.
Because with the marksman rifle, you do have the range, so you can reach out into the center of the table. They're not as good, I agree, as the regular sniper team.
No, not at all. That civilian car, transport capacity 4, so you can barrel both the bazooka teams in there.
You could.
And send them flying. And if you do decide to do that, putting them both in an inexperienced car,
that's going to be
just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
So that makes me nervous. So I think probably having one of the lieutenant teams in alongside it.
Yep.
So 1 bazooka team, 1 lieutenant team. That should be fine.
And they can come in from the reserve, because Partisans has that local knowledge special rules.
Yep,
they come
good.
in pretty easily, but yeah.
Still a risk, but the 2 multi-launchers, because they're Armour 7 fully enclosed miniature tanks, so they're tracked vehicles, so they're quite good. But what you always have to remember with those is you've only got a 90-degree forward-facing fire arc.
You do.
So you've got to make sure you position it well, and it's got a really low profile. I own 2 of them myself. They are brilliant little bits of kit.
Yeah.
And did I read rightly? 2 light howitzers as well. So
yeah.
So this list is really stacked.
It's got 4 HE shots, double bazookas, double snipers, extra. It's got everything. Yeah, it's got
the 2 medium mortars, 2 light howitzers, and then the 2 multi launchers.
Yeah.
So just
6 HEs.
Yeah, just throwing dice for 6s.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden these pistolero units are going to appear on your doorstep. So, and also the what do you call it? Booby traps.
Yeah.
I think this list will cause people a lot of headaches.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Especially if you haven't played against Partisans, they are tricky to play against, because you can't stay back because of all the HE that's coming at you, but you can't really move up well either, because it's got the anti-tank, it's got the anti-infantry charges with the Marquis, it's got all the snipers to kill all your flamethrowers. There's a lot of problems in moving up, and you're also going to be moving up past those booby traps exactly where he wants them to be, and not where you want them, in front of your steward or whatever. It's going to be
it's a really good list, and
It is.
I hope they're bringing it.
I do so too. I think they should, actually.
Yep.
I think they should.
They really should.
Right. 4th list is Japan.
The Rising Sun, Japan.
Here we go. So, regular lieutenant, extra man, Kempetai, extra man, militia, 2 13-man militia units with rifles. Sniper team, double suiciders, inexperienced. Heavy mortar team, inexperienced. Spigot mortar, inexperienced. Mule team, because it's a cheap order dice, I guess. Doesn't need to be veteran in my eyes, but okay. Another lieutenant, another Kempertai, both 2-man teams. A lot of small units in this list here. 13 militia again, 15 bamboo spears, a lot of bodies as well. And again, sniper team, double, triple suicider, heavy mortar, spigot mortar, kurigani to transport a whatever, I don't know, maybe a suicide.
It's an armored car. It's got a machine
Is
gun.
it? Ah, it's got a machine gun. It's an armored car. And a mule team. 23 order dice.
Yeah, this is a red hot nightmare.
Yeah.
It's so huge dice count at 1,000 points. Twin spigot mortars, twin heavy mortars.
Yeah.
Okay, they're all inexperienced, but standing in front of them is an enormous meat shield. Yeah. I didn't do the body count, but I'm sure it's something like
it's insane.
20,
that's 30,
20,
that's
50,
40, that's
it's nearly 60 infantry men, not counting the
teams,
the suicides in the teams.
Yeah,
there's a lot to chew through. There's a lot to chew through as it's running towards you.
Yeah.
What is it? 5 suicide anti-tank teams. Yep. It's got a lot of problems. But in saying that, because it's going to have such a heavy footprint on the battlefield,
it's going to be vulnerable as well.
It's going to be vulnerable to multi-launchers, and it's always going to provide a target. There's always going to be something for the enemy to shoot at.
Yep.
And
if this goes up against one of the Gurkha lists that we're seeing in some of the other teams, it will get shredded.
Yeah.
It can't stand up to that. But
it won't do it. But 2 Kempertai officers, so the chances are that those what do you call them, green units should get an upgrade at some point. So
they should.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a really good Japanese list. The only thing I'm sort of doubtful about is the sniper teams, because I think that most of the time your infantry are going to move forward a little bit at least, so they might get in front of the snipers at some point. We'll see. A good player can make this work.
But I think for me, those 2 snipers are essential for stripping out the either enemy snipers or the enemy mortar teams that are going to be targeting those spigot mortars.
Yeah. Or plinking away at that multi-launcher.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. Final Swedish list. And it is US.
Mm-hmm.
So no Brits for Sweden 1. So we have a second lieutenant with an SMG. We have engineers, 2 of those, 5-man regulars with rifles and a flamethrower, and some regular infantrymen, 7 men with 2 BARs and an SMG. Lots of shots in this unit. Medium mortar, rocket launcher, that's the 114 millimeter multi-rocket launcher, an armored car, a jeep with an MMG, a Stewart with the hull-mounted LMGs, 2 Dodgers. One of them has got a Pintle and is regular, the other is inexperienced. And the second platoon is another lieutenant, regular infantry, 6-man rifles, 2 BARs, 7-man marines with 3 BARs. So again, lots of skirmish range in this here. A dog team, a medium anti-aircraft gun. Seeing these everywhere, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And another Stewart. 16 order dice.
Yeah, it's a good dice count, and it's good to see the anti-aircraft gun there again. But really, you would just have been tempted to take a second multi-launcher.
Yeah, I would be tempted.
That would have been my call. The dog team's a great unit. It's just a cheap veteran order dice. It's 1 infantryman. I am a fan of those as well.
Mm.
The two regular squads stacking the bars. Yeah, good skirmish units. Good to have.
Mm. Would you have cut down on some of these Marines, for instance, and found the points for another mortar?
Oh, yeah. When you say that now, yeah, you would have just kept them at the minimum 6 men, six men with 6 rifles and 3 BARs.
Yeah.
But you can see the sort of minimum sized engineer squads purely just delivery systems for the flamethrowers.
Yeah.
How many transports were there? There were only 2 transports.
Two transports, yeah. 2 Dodges.
Yeah, 2 Dodges. So 1 regular with a pintle, 1 inexperienced.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's probably the weaker area. That you always get that feeling with US lists. If you're going for the barbecue style, you need to have at least 4.
Yeah.
So there's a redundancy of, if one goes forward and fails, the other 2 or 3 that are coming behind it will mop up and make up the difference.
And the fewer there are, the more likely there are to fail, because people can then focus on those few and have stuff in ambush or
precisely
whatever,
and
kill it as it moves up.
And I know we might have had this discussion in the past, but those M3 Stuarts have got recce on them. I tend to not spend the 10 points on recce, just for the fact that I always want to be doing something aggressive and useful with a Stuart. I don't want it to be taking a turn running away and hiding from anything. So I would have stripped those points out and
I would ordinarily always argue for recce, but I do think that it allows you to be a little bit lax. The recce as a player, you're putting your steward into situations where if you haven't got recce, you wouldn't. So I think you become a better player by not having recce. I'll say that much.
I'll go with that backhanded compliment.
Right. All in all, I think these are really good lists from the Swedes. Surprising that they didn't take a British list, for me at least.
But out of those lists from Sweden, I couldn't pick out the one that they would set aside.
No, I would struggle to do that as well. Maybe the German one, maybe.
I would be mortified if they didn't turn up with the Partisan or the Japanese list, though. If they leave either of those behind in Stockholm or wherever they come from, I think they're fools.
Yeah, those 2 lists could do really well.
Yep.
Right. Let's go and see what the Americans are up to.
Now, I believe USA 1, that would be captained by John Ross. Would that be right?
I think so, but I'm actually not sure, because there's been a lot of back and forth here. So, and they're bringing 3 teams, so I'm actually not sure who goes on what team anymore. So, right. So the first one is a Soviet list, and this has got a lot of order dice in it. 20 order dice here.
Yep.
So,
you able to make that bigger for your audience?
There
you go.
Just boosting it up here. So we got a junior lieutenant with an SMG inexperienced. We got 2 Strafbats, 5 rifles, 7 unarmed shirkers. So that is full strength units. These can easily outflank. Mounted recon squads, 3 rifles, SMG on the NCO, 2 SMGs as well, and a flamethrower. That is big squads for both of them, 7-man units. A free rifle squad, medium mortar team inexperienced, 2 dog mines with inexperienced dogs and rifles, and one here where they put SMGs on the NCO and they are running them regulars. I'm not sure about this one. A Katushka, a Jeep, and another junior lieutenant with an SMG, and 2 assault engineers with body armor, with SMGs and flamethrower. No, not flamethrower, Panzerfaust. So no flamethrower on these, but SMGs on all of them. A flamethrower team and another Katusha, 2 brain carriers with the LMGs, and a gas jeep.
Yeah, that's a tough one. 20 order dice.
20 order dice, and you got 2 body armored engineers going up with SMGs.
And they'll be in those brain carriers.
Yeah, they will.
For sure. One multi-launcher, just to act as a wild card. The dog team,
2 multi-launchers. They've got 2 Katyushas.
was it 2 Katyushas?
Yep.
That's pretty good to have a
That is nasty.
fast and mobile. There's no transport for those mounted recon squads, but
Nope.
the reason they are taken is because it's the way the Soviets can get a regular flamethrower in a squad on the table.
Yeah.
So that they're no bad thing.
I just question why you wouldn't have transport for them, because imagine these going up against that partisan list. These mounted recons would be prime target number 1 for 4 snipers.
Yeah, just to strip out the flamethrowers and make them so much less of a threat.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of bodies.
It is a lot of bodies. There's a lot of bodies. Double, and I like that there's two of everything, right? There's 2 Strafbat, there's 2 mounted recon, there's 3 dog teams, 2 Katyushas, 2 assault engineers. Everything's doubled up here.
Yeah,
I really like that.
Yeah,
it is a hard list.
There wasn't 2. There's not 2 single flamethrower teams, though, is there?
No, not. Yeah. They've got a single flamethrower team there and a medium mortar there. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's in that other Gaz Jeep?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's an odd one.
Well, I have an idea though.
Dog team.
I think it's the dog team, the regular dog team.
Yep. I've tried that in the past as well.
Yeah.
With a veteran dog team with 2 submachine guns. So once they fire the dogs off, they can then wander about the battlefield and try and hunt down
shooting something.
Yeah, they can hunt down other small teams or snipers or stuff like that.
Do you think it's a good idea?
I did think it was a good idea. Doesn't work though.
Okay.
Doesn't work. Or at least it didn't work for me, and I tried really hard to make it work.
I imagine. Right. The second list for the Americans is a British one. So a second lieutenant, inexperienced, and then a 7-man and a 6-man Gurkha para with rifles on everyone. The free artillery observer, the 25-pounder, horse-drawn limber, the PPA flamer jeep, which I like it. I just haven't seen it really work. A truck, 15 CVT, that's an 8-man truck, a Crusader AA with the twin autocannons. These are spreading out, Alistair. You've created a trend. Everyone's bringing Crusaders. The second platoon is another lieutenant and 2 7-man Gurkha para rifles, a light mortar, and another PPA flamer jeep, and another Crusader.
I am a huge fan of this list.
Because I am not.
This, for me, this list is leaning into the anti-Stuart, anti-Gurkha meta. Yeah.
Which is funny to say about a Gurkha list, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is funny to say they've got a Gurkha list. I don't see the national trait that they're taking anywhere.
I don't either.
Let's assume they're...
It's up and atom. Yeah,
I was going to say, let's assume they're really good and they're taking up an atom. So I'm a big fan of the Crusader AA, and having 2 of them, just brilliant. Solid 8+ armor tank, doesn't have weak sides. Bo's marketing one as well. I can't reach mine. It's in the cabinet behind me.
I'm literally painting mine these days, so it's right here.
Yeah. So it's good against light vehicles.
Yeah, it is.
And it will shred the Stuarts when it gets into the side armor. Also, in saying that as well, the PPA flamer jeeps. You've said you haven't seen them work yet. Neither have I. But the first dice, last dice, first dice situation with Recce, and for them being veteran, they're outflanking.
Yeah.
That's going to be their benefit. Having the 2 25-pounders gives a really nice bit of board control for them. It was 2, wasn't it?
No, there's 1 and the artillery observer and the light mortar.
The light mortar.
I would have wanted 1 more if I possibly could. Yeah.
Yeah, if you could have snuck it in, that's a shame. Yeah. And then still as well having 2 units of Gurkhas and 2 units of Gurkha paras.
All of them are Gurkha paras. All of them are Gurkha paras.
Right.
The only difference is they've got 1 less man in one of the units here.
Yep, and 15 order dice. it's a really good list. In saying that, though,
Mm?
it's not. It's lacking that. I guess it is lacking that second artillery piece. It's lacking those like I'm going to call them proper mortars, but medium and heavy mortars for digging
Yeah,
out
a light
enemy.
mortar won't cut it for me.
No, that's a throwaway.
Yeah, and inexperienced,
Points.
it's going to die to the first sniper that looks at it.
Yeah, so it's just running about for fun.
I do like the combination of something to deal with the enemy stewards, something to deal with the hard units, the flamer jeeps here, and then the Gurkhas to kill all the infantry. So that combination of three different tasks, I think, is really good.
Yeah, and those PPA jeeps, I really hope the player that's taken this has practiced it, because they can, last dice, drive straight up to a unit, try their luck to get a flamethrower hit on them, and then first dice they are wrecking out of there, away from danger. So, yeah, I was a big fan of this list when I read it, and especially from USA 1. Good.
Yeah, it's really good. Then we have the 3 Italians list here. So that is a second lieutenant, 2 Cavalleria Savoia, 7-man veterans, the L640, which is a flamethrower, 8+ tank, slow. I'm not a huge fan of that one. M15, second lieutenant, another Cavalleria Savoia, double of those here. A howitzer, medium. No, light howitzer, medium AT gun. So it's one of those that can double up. It's inexperienced though. A horse-drawn limber, an L60 with Recce autocannon, and an L3 tankette, 2 MMGs, 12 order dice. This, I think, is the dud list.
Yeah, I think this is the trick list. It's those cavalry squads are very much a sort of in favour to. They're in favour for Italians to use, but they're also in favour for players to talk about of what their potential is. And I think this is one of those wild cards that we won't see. And there's a lot of reasons why we say that, but having 4 units of them, great. But it's all the other supporting elements that are just a little bit shaky. And 12 order dice. You'd be a brave man to risk 12 order dice.
That's too low. That's too low. And I know the Americans are running lower order dice counts than the Europeans and the Brits, but this is too low.
Yeah.
Right. Then they bring the Chinese list here. Second lieutenant with an assistant, a cavalry troop, 8-man, sword squads, 8-man, 2 of those. I like these. Rifles as well. SMGs, veteran, they're very dangerous. Merrill's Marauders, 7 men, SMG, 2 BARs, 4 rifles, good skirmish unit. The Free Levy Squad, 14 men. Flamethrower team, Suicide AT team, medium howitzer with a spotter, Sherman, medium tank, 75 mil, a Morris truck and a universal carrier, and again 12 order dice.
Yeah, you see, when you match this up against that Italian list, you start to think, is this Chinese list the dud?
Just because, one of them is.
Well, one of them is. It has to be. But to talk about the Chinese list, I think it's the potential that the Chinese list has that isn't represented here. In the larger horde that it tends to be better at. And then when you sink points into a M4 Sherman and the universal carrier with the medium mortar strapped in the back, and experience 88 points, no, you wouldn't bring this, and that's a worry.
But would you rather bring the Italian list?
I would rather take the Italian list than this. But now I have to say, and I can say it, is that there's an American player flying across the Atlantic to Spain, and they will have one of these lists. And I don't think either of them will do well.
Which sucks. That will be a long weekend for one player at least.
Yep, it's a big worry. But look, if you have to pick out some of the good. No, sorry, I was going to try and say some good things about it, but it's everything low order dice count. Everything will get pinned down and shut down.
Well, if
very
he's
quick.
up against a good player, yes, he will get pinned down and shut down.
And they'll only
And
be up against
he
good
will be,
players.
yeah, he will be. I do like that he has several different HE shots. The 75 mil, that's 2-inch, I think, as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So he does have 3 HE shots, but I think going over like some of the lists for the Swedes against this one, they would really mess this up.
Yeah. Yeah. The partisans would just
Oh yeah,
howl with laughter
yeah.
against that.
Then we have Romania close to our hearts.
I
Yes,
love Romania so much.
yes, this is good.
Yep.
Second lieutenant inexperienced, combat pioneers, 2 of those with SMGs and Panzerfaust rifles. These are huge units. Love these. Love them. Mountain Division, 7-man rifles.
Sorry, I have lost your audio. But through lip reading, I'm hoping you've just asked me what do I think of this list. One of the downfalls of it is a single platoon. But they have kept the order ice up to 14, but it means they haven't been able to double down on anything. Quite comfortable looking at the Panzer III as their Axis support, which is the perfect choice. The TACM medium anti-tank gun, I'm pretty sure that's on an 8+ armoured hull, if I recall rightly. So that should be another excellent choice. The free medium artillery with a spotter, so having 2 medium artillery pieces is brilliant, backed up by a medium mortar. So there is a nice gun line forming for them. And then the mountain divisions from memory, they have well, actually, it's written right there. They've got the mountaineer special rules, so they can ignore rough ground.
Yeah.
Thinking on the points, though, I know it says that they're regular, but shouldn't they really be veteran?
Yeah, I can't make this sense of this. I don't know. It says veteran here, but it says regular there. I don't know.
Yeah, in my mind, though, I'm sure the mount division that you should take them as veteran, but however they are, they've maxed out on the submachine guns for them. That's the most they can get.
Yeah.
1 Panzerfaust again is the most that unit can get, but they ignoring rough ground when they assault. It's fantastic. I'm a big fan of Romania. I use them at least one tournament every single year in Scotland or beyond. And yeah, my list has a lot of similarities with this one.
I think this is the way to run Romania. Like, this is leaf blower style with a lot of HE and a counter punch. If people push up against you, you'll put the combat pioneers in their face, or the darker panzer if you need that. I mean, it's a really good it's a really good list. I really like this one.
Yeah,
I think it's more or less the best you can do with Romania. This,
I would disagree. You can do better. There's no
you can.
transport other than one truck, so only
There's one truck. Yeah, you could maybe get a second truck. Yeah.
Yep. There's only this list can't attack.
No, true. It will. Yeah. It will
It's gonna.
struggle to push up. It's got
Yeah.
the 2. If these are veteran though, they might be okay.
Yep. But yeah, it's not an attacking list. It's very much a defensive list. But I really hope they bring it. They need to bring this one, especially looking at the 2 other lists, the Italian list and the Chinese list. They need this.
Yep. They really need this.
Yep.
Right. I have to say I'm sorry. My connection shorted out for a sec, so I was lost. So people might have just lost vision of the list for a while there. Was that it? One. That's
think
list
that was
5,
it.
2, 3. Yeah,
That,
it is.
that was
Right.
them.
That was it. So I am again running out of time. Ali, again, I'll ask you.
Yep.
Of these two, if these two nations were going head to head, who do you think would win?
Sweden won.
That would be my money as well.
Yep.
Although I would say that at least one game would be won by the Americans, I think.
Yes, I think the result of the round would be 2 wins, a draw, and a loss to Sweden. And I think Sweden's 2 wins, they would be the Japanese list and the Partisan list would win.
Yeah.
And the win for the USA would be the British list.
I would say that the Soviet one would possibly also win or at least get a draw.
My issue with that Soviet list is the
high order dice count.
Not yeah, there's a lot of weak dice in there, but they've still got the 2 veteran assault engineers and body armor. Yeah, fun times.
Yeah, it'll be fun times. Right. Thank you everyone for tuning in this evening again here, and we will see you next time. Right, it takes extra while with this. Here we go. I am logging.